Welcome guys, this is Ella from Stop Me O channel with another Life is Strange video. So maybe you are new to the franchise, or maybe you have played it when it was released and now you're wondering, how do I mix it up? What do I change to make this feel like a new experience? So I'm here to help you. I've been wondering about the different orders of playing the games. Obviously most of us, the ones who actually played the franchise, all the pieces of it, we were playing it as they were released, right? So we started with Life is Strange and then we moved on to Before the Storm, then we played Farewell, then we played the Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which was a free add-on to the Life is Strange 2. Then we played Life is Strange 2. After playing Life is Strange 2 we played True Colors. After playing True Colors we have played a DLC called Wavelands. That's the release order, available to anyone. Now what I want to do is actually present the games in chronological order, and then an order that I would sort of suggest if you'd like to make this more immersive experience in a way. So here we go. Chronological order is fairly simple. Farewell, so a DLC to Life is Strange Before the Storm, happened in 2008. This is the first earliest piece of the story that we were presented with. Both Max and Chloe were only 13 years old in Farewell. They were playing around. William was still alive. Everything was in order. This was the happiest time in their lives, most probably. Then Life is Strange Before the Storm events happened in 2010, 2 years later. Things changed. We were presented with Chloe without Max, Chloe without her father, who was trying to find anyone to help her get through it, to help her from this feeling of drowning. So she met Rachel, and Rachel was that one person who actually helped her. In that period of her life, Rachel was pretty helpful. In that period of her life, Rachel was exactly what Chloe needed. So a person to sort of hang on to, a person to hang around with, depending on your choice, a romantic interest or a friendship, if that's what you needed in that time. That happened in 2010, 3 years prior to the game events, the original Life is Strange game events. Life is Strange, the main game, happened in October 2013. Then Life is Strange 2, the main game, happened in 2016, also October. Life is Strange 2, episode 2 called Rules, started on the 1st of December 2016. The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is a free addition to the game, its events started on December 10th, 2016. Then Life is Strange 2 moved on, continued as of February 23rd, 2017. Wavelands, a Steph DLC addition to a True Colors game, happened between March and December 2018. And then finally True Colors itself happened between April and May 2019. So unless I missed anything, this is the chronological order of the games, the DLCs and whatnot. Now, here's a suggested order if you'd like to make this an experience. And I'm staying open-minded here, like you can basically discuss that with me in the comments. I'm not really certain because there are various combinations sort of. It's like with Star Wars, you know, you can start with the original trilogy, so 4, 5, 6. Then you can watch the prequel trilogy 1, 2, 3. Obviously that's the way it was released. But then again, you can also watch Star Wars chronologically, and you can start with the first trilogy 1, 2, 3, and then go 5, 4, 6, and then go 4, 5, 6. I can't count. So here's the way I would play it if I wanted to mix things up, sort of, to make it more immersive. The first part that I would start with, that's the one I am least certain about, because it's either Farewell and then Life is Strange, or Life is Strange and then Farewell. I'm sort of mixed here, because if you start with Farewell, then you start chronologically, but it doesn't really matter. What I mean is you start with getting to know Max and Chloe and their happiest, sort of. You get to meet William, then Max leaves, William dies. From that moment on, you can move on to Life is Strange. So you have 5 years in between, 5 years of Max and Chloe not talking at all. What I find interesting about it is that you get to see Max leaving Chloe, and then you jump right back to the moment when they met. This is the way I'd like to play it one day, because you get to see their meeting again with a very fresh memory of what happened in Farewell. The way Max left, what happened to Chloe. You don't really know what happened in between at this point, but it's not as important because you only focus on Max and Chloe on their history. In a way, it's like your Max, because you see Chloe in for a while, and then you don't see her at all for 5 years. Then you see her again in Life is Strange, and you have no idea, no prior knowledge as to what happened, why she has blue hair, why is she such a rebel, why she is angry. Well, you could figure that out. But you see that, and it feels more like your Max in that situation, so that's an interesting order. Then again, if you're starting with Farewell, without any prior knowledge, then maybe it wouldn't hit as hard, because Farewell hits so hard when you have previously played Life is Strange. You see everything that's happening to Chloe, William's death and Max leaving, that message that she recorded, the funeral and all of that. And knowing everything that happens later on, it just makes it so much harder to go through, you know? So at this point, it's either Farewell and then Life is Strange, because you're playing this from Max's perspective, or Life is Strange, the way it's supposed to be, and then Farewell, to complete the story, to see their childhood, them at their happiest. I'm not certain here, it's either this or that. I think personally it would be nice to actually go Farewell and then Life is Strange. After that, I would totally play Before the Storm. It fit. You need to fill in the gap. You need to find out what's happening. If you treat this all as a movie, then treat this as a flashback from Life is Strange, sort of. You're going back, you're finding out everything that's happened in between. What my friend Flynn suggested was starting all the games from Before the Storm, and that's also an interesting perspective, because if you start the whole franchise by playing Before the Storm, then you only know Chloe, you don't know who Max is, like not entirely, not fully. You know Rachel, and you think that this is the most important relationship of the franchise, sort of, because you still don't know that Max exists. Then you finish Before the Storm with that horrible phone ringing, Rachel supposedly going missing. You have no idea what's that about, since you technically haven't played Life is Strange, so you don't have that knowledge, you don't know that Rachel went missing. Then you start Life is Strange by finding Rachel missing posters, which would be actually quite a horrible experience. Like if you loved Rachel, like many people did, if you played Before the Storm and you liked Rachel as much, then it's kind of dreadful to start Life is Strange by finding posters about her missing. Like, I think it would hit hard. So that's interesting, but then again, you would have that by playing in chronological order. So I'm gonna stick to my order: Farewell, Life is Strange, or Life is Strange, Farewell, then Before the Storm. Now what I'd like to do is move on from Before the Storm to Wavelengths. This is a bit unorthodox maybe. In Before the Storm you get to meet Steph, Mikey, Drew, so it makes sense to move on to Wavelengths, because at this point you would find out what happened to Steph, what happened after the tornado hit Arcadia Bay, if it hit for you. I'm assuming you played the Bay path, I mean Chloe Alive path. That's why I find it interesting. It would be more immersive that way. It would connect Wavelengths to Before the Storm and Life is Strange. What I haven't mentioned so far is Life is Strange comic books. There's like over 20 released by now. They aren't really treated as canon. Their events start right after Life is Strange events. If you save Chloe, then you move on from there. They're actually really good. If you haven't checked them out, you should. Yeah, so you start off from that moment on. Chloe and Max are alive, and you see what's happening later on. Like I mentioned before, even though Square Enix is on board and whatnot, it's not exactly canon, because what happens in these events, like described in the comic books, it doesn't exactly fit what we know about Max and Chloe from the little pieces that we got in True Colors and mostly Life is Strange 2. But I would still reach out to one certain comic book. In the comic books, there's actually 2 short stories, or maybe even 3, because I haven't read the free comic book release thingy. There's a short story about Alex traveling to her brother. So I would read that between Wavelengths and True Colors. Then I would play True Colors. You have this nice connection between Before the Storm, Wavelengths and True Colors. Also, it's sort of connected to Life is Strange itself. Then I would move on to Life is Strange 2, Episode 1. I would play Episode 1, and after having played Episode 1, I would have played The Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit, which is an amazing DLC. I mean, in my opinion, it was even better than the game itself, close to it at least. I would play that game. It's not really a DLC. I would play it at this moment, and then I would move on to Life is Strange 2 Episode 2, because it nicely connects. It fills in, it fits. Then I would continue with the rest of the episodes. So 3, 4, and 5. That's my suggested order. Obviously, you can mix it up. You can always find something new if you play in a different order, in my opinion. So the one I suggested, I think it fits because there's a really nice connection between Farewell and Life is Strange. There's also a very nice connection between Before the Storm, Wavelengths, and True Colors. Then on top of everything, there's obviously a very nice connection between Life is Strange 2 and Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit. So that's my suggested order. Obviously, you can mix it up. You can start by playing Before the Storm and then move on to Life is Strange, which gives you a bit of a different perspective. It's interesting to see all of this. I'm really curious to see where we go next, where the franchise takes us next. Are we going to get new protagonists? Will they fit in within the franchise? How would they fit in within the franchise? Right, so these are 3 different orders. You have the release order, which I mentioned before. You have the chronological order, which is also a very interesting way to play it, I suppose. I think when the remasters are out, I'm going to try the chronological order. I will play Farewell, then I will play Before the Storm, then I will play Life is Strange and whatnot. And then you have the suggested order, which sort of combines the events and makes it more immersive, in my opinion. Now, I'd like to hear out your thoughts. Let me know what you think about that. Do stick around the channel. I'm working on a couple of video essays when it comes to Life is Strange, and not only Life is Strange but also The Last of Us and Witcher. So I'm really excited about these. Obviously they are taking a bit more of my time because they are video essays, so I'm sort of writing down scripts, but I'm actually really excited about working on these, and so I'm feeling a little bit better than I did a week ago when I posted that whole sad-ish video. While we're at it, I really wanted to thank my patrons and everyone who's ever supported me, regardless of how big the support was. It's really helping me out plenty, so big shout out to all of you guys and everyone who's watching my videos. Please consider joining Discord, because we are actually discussing that order and everything else in there. You have to accept the rules when you're joining. People really don't do that. And follow me on Twitter, because I really want to hit 1k followers. Thank you so much again. Stay safe, guys. This was Ola from Stop Me O channel. Bye.